is undercover. And now we're moving on to our next review, which is a series that is streaming on none other than Netflix. And the series is called Obsession. Manu, did you watch Obsession?
I don't even know how to मतलब इस मूवी का नाम भी उन्होंने सही रखा है या they should have named it after something else. मतलब इस मूवी में I can only see sex scenes. It's filled with sex scenes. मतलब you forward and you see a sex scene. Forward and you again see a sex scene. Why? I mean story तो क्यों नहीं है इसमें?
So I have to tell you, of course, if you didn't know, this movie is based on a book, and this book was supposed to be, it's a 1991 erotic novella called Damage, and it's supposed to be a 50 Shades of Grey style kind of an adaptation, but the series is actually very, very close to the source material. This erotic novella was written by Josephine Hart. And why are we reviewing the show called Obsession? Is because there are a lot of Indians in the show, people of Indian origin in the show. This is, of course, a British show. And the cast includes Richard Armitage, Rish Shah. Remember him from Miss Marvel, the good-looking boy in Miss Marvel? And Indira Verma, everybody knows Indira Verma. She is, I was really sorry to see her not getting enough screen time here because she's brilliant. And then Anil Gautam, and then of course it also has Charlie Murphy and Sonera Angel. This series is created by Morgan Lloyd Malcolm and Benji Walters. And well, okay, so what is the story about? Let me just explain that to you. Not a lot. It's a story about a very famous surgeon, Dr. William Farrow, who becomes an overnight national sensation because he did a surgery separating twins, and he leads a very boring British life with his family. His wife Ingrid, which is Indira Verma, and he has two kids, Sally and Jay. And Jay is Risha, by the way. And then he has a father-in-law, Ingrid's father, Edward, who was played by Anil Gautam. And I don't know why they all have English names, so they're Indian brown people. So I have no idea why they ended up having English names. But yeah, so much for diversity. Good. So now they're celebrating William's achievements, and Edward, who is a successful barrister, wants to introduce him to the parliament, to people in the parliament, so they can he can get he can secure himself an advisory position. And then enters Jay's girlfriend, Anna Barton. And Jay wants his family to meet her, so she decides to show up at a party where William has gone alone. And this is a party where he's getting introduced to the parliamentarians, and they meet. And boy, do they meet properly? Meet properly, they do, because it is then that we realize that the moment they see each other, there's this animal attraction, and they begin a sordid affair. Now, Anna establishes ground rules for the meetings, and then the obsession goes. And it's just crazy because this entire series is a limited series, 4 episodes long, and just doesn't concern itself with any legitimate attempts to create a cinematic universe for the viewers or go deep dive into the backstories of why this became an obsession. What's wrong with the marriage of Jay's parents, Ingrid and Richard, that he had this crazy fatal attraction for a woman who supposedly is his son's girlfriend. So what ends up happening throughout the four episodes is the sole focus is on the relationship, and there's barely any relationship because instead of having dialogues, they're really sordid sex scenes, and they kind of surrender to each other's obsession, and that's what keeps happening without the support of any functioning narrative till the jolt happens in, I think, the penultimate episode where Jay walks into them having sex. He sees his father and his girlfriend, deep down, and So generally, I think it's been written to be more experiential, less wordy. So you got to depict, what exactly happens. You got to figure out, why, there's a deviation in the end plot of. And there's a difference between what happens in the book and what happens in the series, and with that deviation, also you got to explain it. I think viewers need a lot of explanations in terms of why it happened like it happened. Because William isn't just entranced by Anna, he's crestfallen with passion. And the way Armitage really acts, he really lets you show it. He becomes a sex zombie for her. But but the person who really owns him and who owns the narrative is actually Anna's character, and she's able to compartmentalize her relationship with her father-in-law and her relationship with the son. She does it, and she literally tries the best to compartmentalize the two and kind of treat them separately. um but the the series does understand that the most devastating forms of passion are irrational. They're all encompassing, even non-verbal. So there are hardly any dialogues between the two of them, and definitely amoral, of course, because of this entire situation. But then, of course, the destruction that was ensured happened, and then there's a cliffhanger which leaves hope for a second season because something does happen in the last episode, which we will not give away. You gotta watch it for that. But I have to tell you guys a big applause for Indira Verma, because she was just, in whatever scene she was phenomenally organic. However, I think she deserves far meatier roles than what she had. And Jay Shah, played by who's played by Risha Jay, sorry, Jay played by Risha. Remember him from Miss Marvel, is such a cutie. He looks so good. And then, of course, the show's ending, as I said, is subtly different to that of the novella that had a very different ending. Um, and I think in the novella, what also happens is Anna's story isn't as vivid as William's story. It's more of a William story. In the series, it's more of Anna's story. She's calling the shots. And there is a final chilling scene, and then, we can't tell you what exactly happens, but there's a cliffhanger, and go all on out and do watch this show. If you're into erotica, this a weekend is the right time for you to head towards Netflix and chill